Was there anything worse than this?
The U.S. Attorney in Manhattan says the site illegally paid $440 million to its directors, money that the site allegedly took from customer accounts.
Well, years before the infamous Full Tilt scandal, there was another controversy that rocked the poker world. The Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker super user scandal was, and still is, considered one of the darkest chapters in poker history. But what really happened?
We had a couple of questions for you, Mr. Hamilton. Are you in any way associated with the UltimateBet.net super user cheating scandal?
Well, before we get into the thick of it, thanks for checking out Poker Boom. We appreciate you being here and watching the video. And if you want more poker content, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Alright, let's get into it. Poker is a sport where fortunes are won and lost with the turn of a card, and where trust among players is paramount. The late 1990s and early 2000s marked the golden era of online poker, with websites like Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker leading the charge. These platforms offered players from all corners of the globe the opportunity to test their skills and wits against opponents in real time, without the constraints of physical locations. The lure of quick riches, anonymity, and the convenience of online play contributed to the poker boom. At the heart of the scandals were individuals who had initially contributed to the growth of online poker. Russ Hamilton was one such figure. Born in Detroit, Michigan in 1948, Hamilton had a modest upbringing and attended college at the University of Michigan, before a conversation with a professor prompted him to drop out to pursue poker full-time. His foray into the poker world began in Las Vegas, where he honed his skills and built a reputation as a formidable player. His early success and charisma,
or he could bet $150,000 with top pair, or he could bet $150,000 with no pair, no nothing, or anything. You just didn't know where he was at.
led him to become a beloved figure in the poker community. He would end up going on to win the 1994 World Series of Poker, where he won $1 million.
I can't tell you how happy we all are to see a Las Vegas hometown guy win it.
Thank you.
And you did a very good job. You didn't make any bad moves, and you were a real gentleman about the whole thing.
His rise to prominence in the poker world was marked by his success in both live and online poker. He was particularly renowned for his deep understanding of the game and his ability to read opponents. Hamilton's strategic acumen earned him respect among his peers, and he was widely admired for his contributions to the growth of the poker community. His involvement with Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker began in a consultant capacity. His extensive knowledge of poker, coupled with his popularity, made him an attractive asset to these platforms. Little did he know at the time that his presence would eventually be synonymous with an incredibly dark period in the history of poker. The rise of Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker was, in a word, meteoric. They offered players a wide range of games, generous bonuses, and the allure of competing against top-notch professionals. The sites also became platforms for aspiring players to realize their dreams, with some even turning online success into fruitful poker careers. These platforms hosted high-stakes games that attracted poker legends, including Phil Hellmuth, who Hamilton even recruited himself. And this created an exciting and a competitive atmosphere. The promise of huge cash prizes and the thrill of facing off against famous poker pros drew players in droves. The online poker community flourished, with players sharing strategies, experiences, and building lasting friendships. However, the success story of Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker was very short-lived. As the sites continued to grow, whispers of irregularities and suspicions of cheating began to circulate. Players reported anomalies in the gameplay, such as suspiciously high win rates for certain individuals. The poker community's trust began to erode as players questioned the integrity of the platforms that they had once revered. The revelations that followed were shocking. It was discovered that certain individuals, including Russ Hamilton, had exploited vulnerabilities in the software to see their opponent's hole cards, a practice known as super user cheating. This enabled them to gain an unfair advantage, effectively rigging games in their favor.
What I saw did not make any sense. When the other person was bluffing, he would always go all in. When the other person had some kind of made hand, he would always fold.
A lot of this came to a head when an account called Pot Ripper won a $100,000 guaranteed $1,000 buy-in tournament in September 2007. This account was eventually traced back to the site's corporate offices in Costa Rica and was believed to have been the director of operations, AJ Green. On September 29, 2008, the Gaming Commission stated it had found clear evidence that between the dates of May 2004 and January 2008, Russ Hamilton was the primary ringleader behind the scandal, cheating people out of money to the tune of approximately $20 million. In May 2013, recorded audio of discussions with Ultimate Bet Management were released, where Hamilton and other management can be heard discussing the scandal and their plans to cover it up. On the recording, Hamilton said things such as,
And I did take this money, and I'm not trying to make it right, Dan, so we got to get that out of the way real quick, okay?
Russ Hamilton has largely disappeared from the poker world and the public as a whole since. Very little is known about his current state, but suffice to say, there's nobody who feels bad for him or is looking to have him involved in the poker world ever again. He is currently the only World Series of Poker main event winner who doesn't have a banner hanging in the hallway or tournament area of the WSOP. At the end of the day, the fallout from the Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker super user scandals was swift and it was brutal. The platforms faced lawsuits, regulatory scrutiny, and a tarnished reputation that they would never fully recover from. Players who had invested their time, their money, and their trust in these sites were left devastated and disillusioned. The poker community, which was once a tight-knit and trusting group, had been fractured by betrayal. And the repercussions extended beyond the online poker world, impacting the perception of poker as a whole. Trust among players and the integrity of the game became hot topics of discussion. The Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker super user scandals remind us that trust is the bedrock upon which any community, whether online or offline, is built. The downfall of these once promising platforms illustrates the dire consequences of betrayal and the profound impact it can have on an entire community. As poker fans and as poker players, we must learn from these scandals, we must remain vigilant, uphold the values of integrity, and prioritize the trust that binds us together as a community. The wounds inflicted by the actions of a few may take time to heal, but they remind us of the importance of maintaining the purity of the game we love. And that's it for this one. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure to check out one of the other 2 videos you'll see right there in the player window. We appreciate you subscribing to Poker Boom, and we'll see you in the next one.